Studying under Dick Bavetta for 13 years was like pursuing a graduate degree in advanced game manipulation. He knew how to marshal the tempo and tone of a game better than any referee in the league by far. He also knew how to take subtle and not so subtle cues from the NBA front office and extend a playoff series, or worse yet, change the complexion of that series. The 2002 Western Conference Finals between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Sacramento Kings presents a stunning example of game and series manipulation at its ugliest. As the teams prepared for Game 6 at the Staples Center, Sacramento had a 3-2 lead in the series. The referees assigned to work Game 6 were Dick Bavetta, Bob Delaney, and Ted Bernhardt. As soon as the referees for the game were chosen, the rest of us knew immediately that there would be a Game 7. A prolonged series was good for the league, good for the networks, and good for the game. Oh, and one more thing. It was great for the big market star-studded Los Angeles Lakers. In the pregame meeting prior to Game 6, the league office sent down word that certain calls that would be benefited by Lakers, were being missed by the referees. This was the type of not-so-subtle information that I and other referees were left to interpret. After receiving the dispatch, Bavetta openly talked about the fact that the league wanted a Game 7. If we give the benefit of the calls to the team that's down in the series, nobody's going to complain. The series will be even at 3 apiece, and then the better team can win Game 7, Bavetta stated. As history shows, Sacramento lost Game 6 in a wild come-from-behind thriller that saw the Lakers repeatedly sent to the foul line by the referees. For other NBA referees watching the game on television, it was a shameful performance by Bavetta's crew, one of the most poorly officiated games of all time. NBA star Grant Hill later stated on national television that Dick Bavetta was known for extending playoff series. Consumer advocate and former presidential candidate Ralph Nader went much further in his condemnation of the events. In a letter to NBA Commissioner David Stern, Nader wrote of the erosion of public confidence in the integrity of professional sports. Dear Mr. Stern, at a time when the public's confidence is shaken by headlines reporting the breach of trust by corporate executives, it is important during the public's relaxation time for there to be maintained a sense of impartiality and professionalism in commercial sports performances. That sense was severely shaken in the now notorious officiating during Game 6 of the Western Conference Finals between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Sacramento Kings. Calls by referees in the NBA are likely to be more subjective than in professional baseball or football. But as the judicious and balanced Washington Post sports columnist Michael Wilbon wrote this Sunday, too many of the calls in the fourth quarter when the Lakers received 27 foul shots were stunningly incorrect, all against Sacramento. After noting that the 3 referees in Game 6 are 3 of the best in the game, he wrote, I've never seen officiating in a game of consequence as bad as that in Game 6. When Pollard, on his 6th and final foul, didn't as much as touch Shaq, didn't touch any part of him. You could see it on TV, see it at courtside. It wasn't a foul in any league in the world. And Divac, on his 5th foul, didn't foul Shaq. They weren't subjective or borderline or debatable. And these fouls not only resulted in free throws, they helped disqualify Sacramento's 2 post defenders. And one might add, in a 106-102 Lakers victory, this officiating took away what would have been a Sacramento series victory in 6 games. This was not all. The Kobe Bryant elbow in the nose of Mike Bibby, who after lying on the floor groggy went to the sideline bleeding, was in full view of the referee who did nothing, prompted many fans to start wondering about what was motivating these officials. Wilbon discounted any conspiracy theories about the NBA-NBC desire for Game 7, etc. But unless the NBA orders a review of this game's officiating, perceptions and suspicions, however presently absent any evidence, will abound and lead to more distrust and distaste for the games in general. When the distinguished basketball writer for the USA Today, David Dupree, can say, I've been covering the NBA for 30 years, and it's the poorest officiating in any important game I've ever seen. When Wilbon writes that, the Kings and Lakers didn't decide this series would be extended until Sunday, 3 referees did. When many thousands of fans, not just in Sacramento, felt that Merritt lost to bad refereeing, you need to take notice beyond the usual and widespread grumbling by fans and columnists about referees ignoring the rulebook and giving advantages to home teams and superstars. A review that satisfies the fans' sense of fairness and deters future recurrences would be a salutary contribution to the public trust that the NBA badly needs. We look forward to your considered response. Sincerely, Ralph Nader. Kings coach Rick Adelman looked absolutely ill after Game 6, and Lakers coach Phil Jackson strained to hold back a playful smirk when asked about the officiating. I wasn't even a member of the crew working the game, but I couldn't sleep that night. I knew that the referees, not the players, decided the outcome of the game. I don't know why it affected me that night. This was something I had witnessed many times before. Perhaps it was the magnitude of the game or the blatant and shameless manipulation of a game that was viewed by millions of fans around the world. This game wasn't stolen by a quiet thief in the night. It was no less than an armed robbery in broad daylight. With Game 6 in the Lakers column, it was on to Game 7 in Sacramento. The Lakers won that game and went on to win the NBA championship. Most of my colleagues and I were convinced Sacramento was robbed of the Western Conference title and an opportunity to compete in the finals.